What is going on, folk? It's NimbleThor here, and welcome back to my mobile gaming quest, where today we are playing Dungeon Chronicle, which is a new action RPG where we travel through endless floors of enemies. We pick up just an insane amount of loot, we equip the new loot, we fight the boss. Oh, and the boss actually found us here, or the Dungeon Keeper as it's called. It's actually not a boss, guys. A Dungeon Keeper at the end of every level. We switch between 3 different weapons. We have the swords here, we have sort of a gun, and then we have a staff, a mage staff over here. And then we use the different skills that belongs to each of these different weapon types to defeat all these enemies, defeat the boss, and then move on to the next wave or the next floor of enemies. That is the core gameplay. If you guys like games like, for example, Eternium, then I think you will definitely enjoy this game because it's very much like that. Of course, it does have its differences, but if you think of something like Eternium meets Dungeon Quest and then with some roguelike elements from games like Caves or maybe even Soul Knight, then, you know, you have 4 awesome games in one game, and that's basically what you can expect from this game here. Now, the game is rather hardcore. There's no auto system, there's no energy system, there's no wait times, and heck, we even have to pick up our loot ourselves, because look at this, all the loot here on the ground, we do not automatically pick it up, we do have to click a pick up button, and admittedly, that can sometimes be a bit difficult, because you do have to position yourself very carefully just above the loot in order to pick it up. But you'll get used to it rather quickly. Let's see, we got some new weapons here. We got this one here that is definitely better, so let's equip that. We got some new destroyer pants, look at that. We're gonna equip those as well. What else do we have here? We have a new staff, it seems. Much stronger as well. This is awesome. And now we can just batch sell the rest because our inventory was full, so we could not pick up all these other items here. So now that we've done that, let's just see. Yes, we have a new staff that is even better than the one we had on us before. So now what we can do is we can choose to continue exploring this stage here. You guys can see the timer at the top has stopped because we've defeated the boss, so we can continue to explore it if we want to, or we can just move on to the next one. For now, we're just gonna move on to the next one. And we got 3 stars here, we got some gems, which is not a premium currency, by the way, it's a skill point currency. That's 1 out of 2 currencies. The other currency is the gold in the game that you can use in the shop. So I'm gonna show you guys that once we get to the next level. So the next floor is floor 16, and so far the game is actually somewhat easy. I was very surprised at how easy it actually is, but I think that also has to do with the combination of items that we were so lucky to find, because look at this. I used this sword over here, or these 2 swords actually, dually equipped, which means they attack very, very quickly. We do lots of small attacks very quickly with these on, and then in combination with this ring here, this gold ring that has a plus 1.1% HP per hit. As you guys can probably see, that combination means that we are basically invincible. I mean, at least as long as we fight large groups of enemies where we really just deal a lot of hits very, very quickly. It does not matter that this sword might not be as strong as some of the other swords that we have found, because I have found quite a few swords that actually dealt much more damage per hit, because these ones hit so fast that we can basically just steamroll everything. Look at this. Look at our HP bar. Did it even go down? No, I do not think so. It didn't, because it's just so easy with this combination of items here. The bosses do deal a lot of damage though, and so, those are sometimes at least a real challenge, but it depends a bit really. Some of them have different types of abilities that makes it much, much stronger to defeat them. We do not have any map either. That's another part that makes the game really hardcore, so we do just have to sort of randomly run around in these caves, and all of these stages look pretty much the same. I mean, graphically they might be a bit different, but basically what you're doing is you're just running from room to room in this thing that is not a cave, but it's this world, it's this floor that we're in. For some reason, we're always above ground, even though we're traveling down in floors. Do not question the logic, guys. Do not question the logic of this game. Just enjoy it for what it is, which is an awesome hack and slash action RPG. So once we do eventually die, we will lose all of our items, but we will get to keep these relics over here. Relics are another type of item. It's another type of loot that we pick up, but they stay with us and they do a stat increase, such as, for example, this one here. We have 2 of those now out of 1,000 that we can pick up, and currently they give us plus 16 in attack power. We have some of this over here, for example, that's gonna give us plus 4.8% increase in critical damage. So this is going to make a huge difference over time as we slowly pick up more and more of these, because they have a percentage increase. So it's a really strong multiplier of whatever weapon or equipment that we're currently using. Oh, and we found some new equipment that we can use, so let's equip that. Let's sell the rest in a batch. Luckily, we can batch sell. I mean, imagine if we couldn't. And then we have this ring. Does it have... Oh, it has 1.4% HP per hit. So I guess now we're even more overpowered, guys. Now, as I mentioned before, each weapon has different types of skills, connected to them. So these skills do not change whenever we get a new type of sword, but it's just swords have a set of skills. The mage staff has a different set of skills, and so on. You guys can see all the different skills in here. Now, I really love the sword setup, the swordsman here, and of his skills, the whirlwind one is the best one, at least that I found so far. What's really interesting is that instead of simply leveling up these skills here by using the skill points that we collect within the game, we actually get to choose exactly how we want to upgrade this skill. So, for example, we can upgrade it so that it increases damage. So basically, we deal more damage when we use this skill, but we can also upgrade it in a passive way so that we take less damage, so the enemy will deal less damage to us when we use this skill. And then lastly over here, mana consumption reduced. And we have these options for every single skill. You can see the earthquake one here, increase damage. This one is going to increase stun time. This one is going to reduce the cooldown, and this one is going to reduce the mana. Now I'm just going to keep upgrading the whirlwind here because it's a really strong skill, and I'm going to show you guys its use right now. Look at this. I can just hold down the skill button here and we can just steamroll these guys because this skill here is just insanely powerful. And especially as we slowly level it up, of course, it becomes even more and more powerful. Let's see if we picked up some new stuff that we should equip here before the boss battle. I do not think we did, because the boss has found us. You can see it marked by red in the top right corner, and there it is. Oh, looks like we got one of the more difficult bosses this time around. Let's try using our skill here, though, the one that we just leveled up before. Look at how strong it is. Oh, and I completely forgot we actually have a brand new skill that we got when we leveled up to level 20, and I have not even tried that one yet, but we already defeated this guy. That was easy, that was easy. Let's move on to the next cave, and then let's try out the new skill that I have not used yet. So we got 3 stars here, got some more gold, got some of the skill points, and we're on to the next level. Now, the way the game monetizes is through showing us advertisements in between levels. In fact, we were just shown an ad just before. Obviously, I've edited that out. But we are shown ads in between levels. We can skip them immediately though, so honestly, I'm not too worried about that. I mean, I don't mind too much, but then apart from that, we do have in-app purchases going all the way up to $100 US, but you can mostly use those on costumes, which yes, is gonna give you, faster experience points and drop item rarity increases and so on and so on. And we can also buy wings over here. We can also buy some of the wings for in-game currency, but for some of them, we do have to use premium currency to acquire them. And yes, they do increase movement speed, attack power, defense, and attack speed, and so on. So yes, that will make the game easier for you guys, but honestly, I do not feel like this game needs to be any easier than it is right now. It's already pretty easy, actually, and I don't think making it any easier would really give a better gameplay experience. It's just gonna make it, even easier, and maybe it's even gonna make it even more boring for you guys. Because yes, these levels are somewhat repetitive. I guess that's the main drawback of this game, apart from the fact that you do have to be online to play it, when it could easily, this game could easily have been offline playable, but then obviously we would not be able to see the advertisements, and honestly, I do think that's why the developers chose to keep this game online. So you need to have an online connection. They want to make sure that they have a way of monetizing. Can we really blame them? I don't know, guys. It's sort of a tricky situation, right? Because we definitely do want the developers to monetize so that they can keep improving the game. If they don't monetize, obviously, they will not be able to keep working on the game. But at the same time, none of us likes to have games that require us to do one thing or the other, such as, for example, being online in order to play it. And I know that for some of you guys who only have internet connection whenever you're around a Wi-Fi, this might be a deal breaker for you guys. Now, lastly, as we finish off this boss here, I just want to mention that the controls work well as long as you've gone in here to the settings and enabled the fixed joystick. So it has a static position instead of being able to move around. The joystick itself would be able to move around before, and that's the standard setting. So definitely, once you get into the game, go in there, make that change. It's gonna make a huge difference for you guys, I promise you that. Before that, I actually felt like the controls were pretty horrible, but now that I've changed it to a static position, it's definitely okay. I got used to the controls very quickly. And we defeated this boss. We're gonna pick up this bone chip of Juggernaut, which was one of those, what were the names? One of those relics, right? That gives us a stat increase, and now we can move on to the next level. And we're gonna do that while we're gonna talk about the mobile gaming news of the day, which is that around this time last year, Niantic, the developers of Pokemon Go, received $200 million in investment. And now, 1 year later, they are back at it again, attempting to acquire another $200 million in investment. With a game as popular as Pokemon Go, it really makes you wonder, why do they need this cash infusion? They make a ton of money from Pokemon Go. And why now? The timing seems a bit weird. Are they afraid that Harry Potter Wizards Unite, which is the new AR game they're working on, are they afraid that one is gonna flop? Making it much more difficult to get investment in the future, and so they would rather close the investment round now? It's tough to say, and I'm just theorizing here. I have no data to back any of this up, but let me know what you guys' theories are in the comment section, and until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around.